Look at Galatians chapter 4 verse 1. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all. Next verse. But is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. Making reference to why the law was given. Look at verse 3. Even so we, when we were children, we are in bondage under the elements of the world. Verse 4. But when the fullness of the time was come, God sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law. Why? Next verse. To redeem them that were under the law. To redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. That means if you're under the law, you cannot be a son. For you to be a son, you must be redeemed from under the law. Then when you are redeemed from under the law, you can receive the adoption of sons. And because you are sons, God has set forth the spirit of his son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father. So that happened. Of course, you know that Jews got saved on the day of Pentecost. Acts chapter 3, 4, 5, 6. You will see a lot of Jewish people getting saved. But they didn't get saved as a nation. They got saved as individuals. Some people go to Israel today to look for Jesus. They go to the grave to pray. They go to the Wailing Wall. And they think that there is anything special in that Wailing Wall. Well, the only thing on that Wailing Wall is the wailing. There's nothing special. There's nothing special. They go to River Jordan. There's nothing special about River Jordan anymore. Jesus has demystified all. It's just protocol. It has nothing to do with individuals. So what God did is in Christ Jesus. What God did is in Christ Jesus. Look at the wisdom of God. God predetermined events that he will do. Not that you will do. That he himself will do. For example, God did not give the law. The law was not part of God's plan. God did not predetermine the law. That is why he said that the law could not annul the covenant. That promise of the Messiah came to Adam, and Adam fell. Look at Genesis 3:15 so that you can get what I'm dealing with here. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. The seed of the woman. Which seed? The seed is Christ. The seed is Christ. Now, before the fall of Adam in Genesis chapter 3, look at what God did in Genesis chapter 2:17. Pay attention. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. God didn't say, I would kill you. God only pointed man to the consequence of an action that will be detrimental to him, because God is a God of love. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. So God pointed man to what was in the garden. Tree of life, tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and the choice was man's. Tree of life, tree of the knowledge of good and evil, but the choice was man's. That means God offered to Adam the gospel of life. Before the fall, God gave man the gospel of life. So the gospel of life is not a reaction to the fall of Adam. The gospel of life was before the fall. God gave to Adam the gospel of life, the tree of life, which is Jesus. Look at the way John will put it in John chapter 1 verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God in the beginning, meaning in Genesis. The same was in the beginning with God, verse 3. All things were made by him, and without him was anything made that was made. Verse 4. In him was life. So the tree of life was a figurative communication by Moses of the gospel of Jesus in Eden before the fall. So Adam had the gospel Eve had the gospel, but they rejected the life of God. The life is in Christ. The life is in Christ. So even before Adam sinned, life had existed for him. When he sinned, he now said that life will strip the head of the serpent. Life, which is Jesus, will bruise the head of the serpent. All right? After the fall of man, God's plan still continued. God was not acting after Adam's sin. God had predetermined how he was going to bless humanity. That he was going to bless humanity in Christ. He was going to bless humanity in Christ, the seed of Abraham. Now, please pay attention. When you hear the name Adam, Adam means two things. Number one, Adam means a person. Number two, Adam means a race. So we use Adam as a person, and we use the name of Adam as a function. Adam as a function. And he said, the seed is in itself, and it will bring forth after its kind. That is why in Jesus, it is the second and last Adam. He determined it like that. So things will be counted by Adam. If anyone be in the second and last Adam, he's a new creation. All things are passed away. It's not referring to conduct. He's referring to status. Status. Now you are in Christ. It's not a conduct. That is your status. So God determined it like that so that there will be no more offering for everyone. There will be one place for everyone. There will be one man for everyone. So who did God determine to be saved? It will not be who did God determine to be saved. It will be what did God determine to be saved. Not a who, but a what. That's why he said foreknowledge and predestination are two separate things. It is foreknowledge that informed predestination. Foreknowledge is what I know you will do. Predestination is now what I will do because of what I know you will do. Foreknowledge, what I know you will do. Predestination, what I will do because of what I know you will do. God, before Adam was created, determined humanity to function in one race. Determined humanity to function in one race. So he created everyone in Adam.